What would you do if you discovered a truth so dangerous that the most powerful sports organization on the planet wanted you erased, not silenced, not ignored, erased? What if that truth was costing men their minds, their families, their lives, and nobody wanted to hear it? This is not a story about football. This is a story about what happens when an Igbo man refuses to look away. In 2015, Hollywood told a story that America was not ready to receive. It was called Concussion. Will Smith did not play a superhero. He did not play a king. He played a doctor, a pathologist, a man with a microscope and an unbreakable conscience. He played Dr. Bennet Omalu, Omalu, a son of Igbo land, and in one of the most quietly powerful scenes in that entire film, Dr. Omalu is breaking. The NFL had turned its full machine against him. Powerful men in expensive suits are calling his research fraudulent, his findings dismissed, his name dragged through the mud. He is an immigrant, he is black, he is African, and he dared to challenge the billion-dollar empire of American football. The weight of it all is crushing him. And then his wife, Prema, walks up to him. She looks at this man she loves, this man she watched pour everything into the truth. And then she tells him 4 words. You are Igbo. Not you are a doctor. Not you are an American. Not even you are right. She went deeper than all of that. She reached past his degrees, past his citizenship papers, past his titles and his accolades, and she called him back to who he was, his roots, his people, his blood. Because there is something the world must understand about the Igbo people. We are not people who bend easily. We are not people who are broken by pressure. The Igbo spirit was not forged in comfort. It was forged in survival, in enterprise, in the fierce, unrelenting pursuit of truth and excellence. From the ancient kingdoms of the southeast regions of Unri to the trading routes that made Igbo merchants legendary across the world and Africa, to the universities, the oldest indigenous university in Nigeria, to hospitals, courtrooms, and boardrooms of the modern world, the Igbo man and the Igbo woman have always carried something inside them that refuses to be diminished, that refuses to be erased. And when Prema spoke those words to her husband, she was not simply comforting a tired man. She was summoning an entire people. She was calling forth generations of ancestors who built and fought and endured and rose, so that this moment, this one man in this one battle could be possible.
This is a movie about a faith journey that would make you realize that science is not diametrically opposed to faith.
Born on September 30th, 1968 in Nnokwa, Anambra State, Nigeria, a child of Igbo land from the beginning, Bennet Omalu was different, not just intelligent, he was gifted. Relentlessly, almost uncomfortably gifted. He has earned 8 degrees, 8 in medicine, pathology, epidemiology, business administration.
My father teased me I was a professional student. The last time I counted, I had like 8 degrees and certifications.
By the time he arrived in the United States, he carried something no immigrant officer could stamp into a passport: an obsession with the truth. He settled in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He took a job at the Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office. Not glamorous work, not headline-grabbing work. This was the quiet and unglamorous labor of studying the dead to protect the living. And it was here, in the fall of 2002, in the cold fluorescent lights of a Pittsburgh morgue, that the course of American sports history was changed forever. A body arrived. His name was Mike Webster, four-time Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steeler, Hall of Famer, Iron Mike. Except the man on that table was not iron, he was broken. Mike Webster had died at just 50 years old, having spent his final years in a spiral of mental illness, amnesia, and heartbreaking sufferings. The football world mourned him, but nobody was asking the vital question that Bennet Omalu could not stop asking. Why? Why did this happen to him? What did football do to his brain? Bennet Omalu spent his own money to run additional tests on Mike Webster's brain. Most medical examiners would have signed the death certificate and moved on. Most medical examiners would have just signed the death certificate and moved on. Bennet Omalu could not. Deep within the tissue of that brain, he found something that had never been formally identified in an NFL player before. A devastating, progressive, degenerative brain disorder caused by repeated trauma. He called it Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy, CTE. He published his findings in 2005. He expected the medical community to be grateful. He expected the NFL to be concerned. What he got instead was war. The NFL's own doctors attempted to have his paper retracted. They questioned his credentials. This man with 8 degrees, they questioned his methodology. This man trained at some of the finest institutions in the world. They questioned his right to have an opinion about American football. This immigrant, this African, this outsider, who did he think he was? He was a man who had looked inside a human brain and refused to lie about what he saw. More players were studied, more brains were examined. Junior Seau, Dave Dawson, Andre Waters, name after name, brain after brain, the same findings over and over. CTE, CTE, CTE. The disease was real. The link to football was real. The suffering was real. And no amount of institutional pressure, no amount of billion-dollar lobbying could make Bennet Omalu unsee what he had seen. Because Igbo people do not give up.
The heart attack cannot explain his life after football. I had to provide an explanation for that. I was extremely disappointed when I opened up his skull and his brain looked normal.
Determined to find answers, he analyzed Webster's brain and uncovered a new medical condition.
Well, we're looking at a region of the brain in a football player about 40 years old, and what you could see are these brownish spots. You could now see it looks ugly.
Omalu named it Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy, CTE.
The most significant contributory factor to CTE is exposure to blunt force trauma of the head. So what happens is that over sometimes up to 40 years, you will now begin to manifest in a progressive manner seemingly innocuous symptoms as mild as constant headaches, very subtle changes in personality, very subtle but diminishing intelligence, and then mood disorders, chronic alcoholism, drug abuse.
Are we talking like gentle slaps to the head?
Violent slaps that would make your brain move forward and backward, sideways in your skull, causing shearing injuries.
Omalu's published findings were dismissed, even demonized by fans and some in the NFL. What were some of the things people called you back then?
That insinuated I was a voodoo doctor, that I was fraudulent, that I was synthesizing my data and my findings. Some pretty much called me the N-word. I actually lost my job. Even officials in the National Institute of Health. I've been told in a meeting, one of the officials of the NIH said, "That African, I don't trust him."
Someone who did trust him and bolstered Dr. Omalu's credibility was neurosurgeon and former Steelers team doctor Julian Bailey.
Here is what separates a man of integrity from other men in the room. It is not that the Igbo man never feels fear. It is not that he never feels the weight of what it costs him to stand alone. It is that he stands anyway. Dr. Omalu was investigated, scrutinized, publicly dismissed. He watched colleagues distance themselves from him. He watched institutions he respected choose football over truth. The NFL is not simply a sports league in America. It is a religion. It generates billions of dollars. It is woven into the cultural fabric of the nation. To challenge the NFL is to challenge America itself. And Bennet Omalu was not American born. He has spoken openly about the dread of those years he spent growing up in Nigeria, about wondering if he had made a mistake, if one immigrant doctor from Nigeria had any right to upend an institution so central to the American identity. And then Prema's words would return, "You are Igbo. Igbo people do not give up." The Igbo understanding of integrity is not a modern concept. It is ancient. It is in our proverbs. Onye wetara oji wetara ndụ, ife onye metalụ owu isi ya bulu. He who brings kola nut brings life. Whatever a man does in his life, he will reap its rewards. The kola nut is sacred. It is offered in truth, received in truth, and shared in truth. An Igbo man's word is not just his word. It is his honor. It is the honor of his people. Bennet Omalu understood this. He did not fight the NFL for fame. He did not fight for money. He fought because a dead man on a cold table in Pittsburgh had no voice left. He must speak for the dead, and someone had to speak. He chose to be that someone because that is what Igbo men do. Today, the world knows what chronic traumatic encephalopathy is. Today, the NFL paid hundreds of millions of dollars in settlement to former players with brain injuries. Today, youth football leagues have changed their rules, helmets redesigned, protocols rewritten. The word concussion, once worn like a badge of honor in locker rooms, is now understood for what it really is, a brain injury. Because one Igbo man refused to be silent. Dr. Omalu has served as chief medical examiner for San Joaquin County, California. He holds medical licenses across multiple states. He has taught, he has mentored, he has continued to research. He became a United States citizen and wept when he took his oath. He has received honors and recognition from institutions around the world. But the most remarkable thing about Dr. Bennet Omalu is not his credentials, it is his heart. In every interview, he speaks not with bitterness towards those who attacked him, but with sadness. Sadness that it took so long. Sadness for the players who suffered before the truth was believed and told. He is a man who believes in the sanctity of every human body, as his name, Ifa Kando. Nothing is more precious than life. Every person he has ever examined, no matter who they were, he has treated as sacred. Because in his view, every human being deserves someone who will tell the truth about what happened to them. Ifa Kando. Every single one. That is not just medicine. That is Igbo character, and that is the integrity of a people who have always known that truth is not something you speak only when it is convenient. Truth is something you carry, you guard it, you protect it, even when it costs you everything. Somewhere right now, there's a young boy strapping on a helmet on a football field, and because of Bennet Omalu, he is safer than he would have been. Somewhere, A former player is finally getting answers, finally being believed, about why his head hurts, why his memory fails, why his life changed. Because of Bennet Omalu, one man, one microscope, one unbreakable commitment to the truth. They told him to be quiet. They told him he didn't belong. They told him the truth anyway because he is Igbo, and the Igbo people have always known something the powerful never expect. The truth has a way of outlasting every institution that tries to bury it. That integrity is the one thing that cannot be taken from a man unless he surrenders it himself. Bennet Omalu never surrendered, not for once, because he is Igbo, and Igbo people do not give up. Igbo people do not bend the truth. Thanks for watching this very beautiful and interesting documentary. If you enjoyed this clip, please look through our channel. You will find many other interesting videos to watch. This is Enu Cultural Forum. I look forward to seeing you in our subsequent videos. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enu